Hello, my darlings. Today we are going to be getting into part 1, metaphorically 2, of What If Deku was Technoblade. Quick reminder, please ignore background noises. I do not own Deku or any of the characters in My Hero Academia. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And I do not own Technoblade, obviously. The only thing I own technically is this channel and the plot line. But that's all. Anyways, let's get on to the story. So, they start off with Suzuku. Obviously being diagnosed quirkless back when he's 4. But when I say he wasn't quirkless. Actually, they just misread some files and all that. He got things mixed up. He wasn't actually quirkless. He had a quirk, but he decided to keep it hidden, and they thought it was better to keep seem like he was quirkless, since that was what the doctor had said, even though he knew he had a quirk. It wasn't a super duper duper strong quirk, but he had a light telekinesis, I guess. He could just sense things better. His senses were incredibly heightened, and he was just better at that type of thing. Like, he could sense things that others couldn't. You know, the normal. Anyways, so yeah, that was his quirk. But he also heard voices ever since he was a young little child. But they were very mellow, and he was good at blocking them out. He trained his mind and meditated many things to block them out, since he knew that would help. He wasn't as interested in heroes as he seemed. He just put on that font. He was more interested in their battle styles and their quirks. That's why his notebooks were full of their battle styles, their weaknesses, their quirks, their strengths, all of that. But continuing on, he grows up, he goes to UA, he gets in, does give him one for all and all that. He gets in to UA, and he goes up till he saves Eerie and all that. Everything happens as canon. But then he is called to the office because he's been asked to go on a mission. He is 16 and a half, almost 17, as of right now. And he gets asked to go on a mission for 15 years to another dimension. Obviously he accepts because he's like, oh, I love you. And he would do anything. He wants to be a hero and all that. So he would do anything for a hero, correct? Yes. So young Izuku heads through the portal. He says goodbye to everyone. And his disguise is hair being dyed pink. And that's all. Because they just didn't want him to look the same. Just in case, for some odd reason, villains managed to get to that world. And things like that. For protection reasons, obviously. And so, he goes there, and he goes to a village, and he lives there for about a week before he gets found by 2 scientists. We're going to go with their names being Coral and Leonardo, or Leo for short. Yeah, we're going to go with that. And he goes, and they do experiments on him, obviously. And it causes the voices to get louder and more demanding and harder to block out. Causes sentences, English, causes his senses to get even higher than they were before, which they were pretty high before. And it causes him to have the urge to kill for no reason, because of obviously the voice is demanding blood. He gains pig ears and a little pigtail. He becomes part pigman due to the experiments. His hair is permanently pink with like streaks of green in it. His eyes are crimson red with like, if you look close, you can see little shimmers of emerald green in his eyes, obviously, from his original eye color. And the experiments continue on and on, making him stronger, faster, and more powerful. Eventually, he escapes. And after he escapes, he runs and runs through the forest. And he eventually needs to stop to take a rest, and so he does. Remember, he was there for 2 years. He left when he was 16, so he's 17 now. He was there from 17 to 18, so he's 18 now. And Philsa finds him, and Philsa gives him shelter and takes care of him. But like Canon, Techno, he does not consider Philsa his father. He considers him just a good acquaintance. Very good friend. At first it's just a good acquaintance, but then it becomes friend. As he gets closer to him. He does not see Tommy or Wilbur as his brothers. He just sees them as very good friends and people he cares about. That will eventually change with betrayal and all that, but as of current events, he sees them as good friends. He obviously, he kills and such for the blood because to satisfy the voices. He soon he starts going by Technoblade, or Techno, instead of Izuku. He becomes less happy-ish. He becomes more monotone, more dead. His voice gets deeper as he grows and gets better. He becomes less and less like the Izuku that the people of UA once knew. And after the First Manbergian War, with Techno just doing the Arctic Empire with Philza, because that's what happened. We're gonna say that happened during what was happening during the Manbergian War, with the Disc Saga, I guess people call it. During that's what was happening. In all that, the canon life system does work. Still, that exists. So yeah, we each get 3 canon lives and all that. Yeah, that still happens. That still system still exists, except still obviously there's only one because of And that's what's happening so far. And it's been 3 more years. So he'd be 21 when I believe that war lasted 3 years, I think. If it doesn't, well, we're gonna go with that. Anyway, so yeah. That war lasted 3 years, and then there was 7 years of peace. Whilst Techno was having fun, in a way, by the most friends he could. He was killing still and all that, but he decided to retire for a bit. Just to go off the violence path, and just relax. So he started farming and doing things like that. He would do simple adventures and things like that. He got Carl, obviously, as we know Carl's important to him, and things like that. He had fun. He hung out with Philza. Now he was still an anarchist. And then J-Slot's reign, which would be when he was 28, because there was a 7-year time skip in there, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. 6. 22 Techno is called in by Wilbur to come help with the war. To come help him prepare. And so he does. He helps him. He gathers food, weapons. He makes them a beautiful farm. So they have food. He gets them weapons and trains them and gives them supplies and gives them things that they would need to win the war. And they asked him to fight with him. And they agreed that they wouldn't start a government. Which made Techno happy because he's an anarchist, obviously. He did enjoy reading Greek mythology and things like that. That was a thing he did in his pastime. When he had time to relax, he would read Greek mythology. And so, things go as canon. He gets betrayed. He uses the withers. And he's called the traitor because even though he was the one betrayed, just like canon. And he continued on his life. And he left, and he moved away. And the voices quieted down a bit as he rested after the war, and after the betrayal moments and all that. After the announcing of calling Tommy Theseus. By the way, if I seem to be droning on a little bit about this, it's just because this is not the main plot. Anyways, off that. As he continues to live, and the execution part happens where they get Carl and they attempt to execute him, but he survives. He befriends Ranbu, but he doesn't trust him really well, obviously, because he has trust issues. And we will not trust people easily because of what he's experienced and things like that. But he's still kind of kind. Sometimes. Him and Steve. He's Steve. He learns of Ranbu's powers. And he learns and he keeps using his powers to get, he doesn't lose touch with them, he gets stronger. He continues to be strong. Continues to grow. He just continues to grow and get stronger and better. As everyone does. Then obviously all the other things that happen to him getting his weapons back, he can understand Piglins or Pigman speak, so he has a good connection with Michael. Because Michael he can understand him, and things like that. He's teaching Michael how to be an anarchist. He's reconnected with Tommy, but doesn't fully trust him, and he probably never will. But he's caring for him again. So yes. That's happening. And after all the wars, the Jews are put in prison. Still on Karen Limelight. The egg is already happening. And it's quite annoying, but Techno leaves to go to home because he can. It's been the 15 years till they could go home. And he does. When he goes back to My Hero Academia, he's greeted by his old friends. And they run up to hug him, but he pushes them away. And obviously doesn't want to be around them because he's not sure how he feels about them anymore. He's seen things, experienced things. He was asked into the office and asked what he learned on his mission. And he said, "Good things do not happen to heroes." That is what he had said to heroes. As a way of saying what he learned on his mission where he suffered greatly. Many things. He's a 31-year-old, he knows this. He continues studying at UA as he figures why not learn more. They don't know how old he is actually because he still looks the same as when he left. Due to the experiments and how Minecraft logic works. Now he can still do things that you could do in Minecraft, but you wouldn't normally be able to do there just because of, for some odd reason. And so, as he continues on, he heads to his room, and Izawa asks Toru to spy on him. To place a hidden camera in there in order so they can see what he went through and try to understand and try to help him more. And that, my dears, is where I leave you off on this part. Goodbye!